Junior coders, welcome back once again. I am Gargi and I am welcoming you all to my coding channel, Coding with Gargi. Hello everybody, welcome back once again. So guys, today is our first class of coding and I'm so excited to start with coding, and I hope you are also excited because from today we are going to start the journey of coding. So what are we going to discuss in today's session? What are we going to design in today's session? So today we will learn about object oriented programming, OOP. Okay. So what is object oriented programming? How do we use it? Why do we use it? Everything we will learn in today's session. Okay. So let's get started. But before that, stay tuned till the last of the video because there is a big announcement, a special announcement for all of you. So stay tuned till the last of the video. So guys, we were discussing about the object oriented programming. So let's see what is object oriented programming and how we are going to discuss today. So what is our goal for this module, for this session? So we will learn to think about programming in an object-oriented manner. That means we will learn how the programmers think and we will develop our skills for thinking in that manner. So all the programmers who are good programmers, who are the professional programmers, they think in an object-oriented manner. So we'll also learn how to think in object-oriented manner. And also, we are not going to discuss about it. We will also design the paddle and ball class and we will create objects using the class to use it in our program. That means, in short, today we will discuss about object-oriented programming, that is object-oriented programming, also called as OOP. And we will design the ping pong game. That is a very fantastic game. I will tell you how it works. In that we will require paddle and ball. So we'll learn how to create the paddle and ball in the today's session. Okay. So we'll start from the what is object oriented programming. We will then start with designing the paddle and ball class. What is class? I will tell you. Then we will create objects using that class. That is also I will tell you. And important thing that we will also learn how to store objects in variables. Okay, so I'll also tell you about variables. So let's start. So before we start, I need to tell you some special tricks or tips according to which you can be a good programmer. Right? If you want to be a good programmer, you should have these skills in your mind, in your behavior. So what are the skills? First activity, that is the first thing I will tell you, that adding comments to codes. So coding needs to be easily understandable and readable, right? Readable. A good programmer always adds comments for this reason. Okay, so like this, for example, here I have shown you a picture. So see here, they are calling a function draw and then they are calling background white. So why they are calling background as white? Because the reason is given here. Clear the screen. Then they are making a rectangle of this size, width and position, and then they are telling it why they have made the rectangle to draw the player pad. Again they have made a rectangle for what? For drawing the computer pad. Again they are drawing a rectangle for what? For drawing a ball. So I'm understanding why they are drawing the rectangles, why they are giving the background as white, because of the comments that they have added, right? So if the most important sign, the most recognizable sign for being a good programmer is adding comments. If anyone will see your code and if they say they saw that you have added the comments, then they will know that you are a perfect coder, because you have added the comments and they can easily read and understand the program that you have written. Okay, so first important thing, that you have to add comments. Okay, and how to add comments? Like we have to give 2 slashes, that like this they have given. So this is the sign for your comments. Okay, let's see the second activity now. So second activity is talking about object oriented programming. So now let's talk about object oriented programming, that is OOP, right? OOP. So in this programming style, we write code as if everything in the programming world were an object, just like in the real world. So in our real world, we see many objects, right? We see fan, we see bed, we see cooler, we see humans. Everything we saw that are nothing but our objects, right? So similarly in our programming world, whatever you will create, whatever you will show, whatever you will display is nothing but an object. Let's suppose if you want to display a paddle, that is an object. If you want to display a ball, that is an object. If you want to display a human, a girl, a boy, or anything, that is an object. So in this style, whatever thing you will create, that is an object. Okay? And we know that every object has some properties and functions. Each object, every and each object has properties and functions. So similarly, in this programming language, in this programming style, we have the properties and functions. So what are properties? So properties are nothing but the qualities or the characteristics, right? Like let's suppose if I take a mobile phone. So what is the property of that mobile phone? How it looks, how is its size, how is its texture, how is its color, and all of these things comes under the properties. And what are its functions? The functions are nothing but the actions that the object can do. That means that the mobile can do. So what the mobile can do? We can click a selfie, we can call anybody, we can set an alarm, and many more, right? So these are the this is what the object oriented programming deals with, right? Did you understand that? I will again explain you in short. Like in this object oriented programming, whatever we will create is nothing but our object, right? Is our object. And in our real world, like we have every object as its property and function. Here also in object oriented programming, whatever you will create is an object, and that object has some properties and functions. The properties deal with how it looks, right? And the functions deal with what actions that the object can do. If I create a man, how it looks will it be its properties, and what that man can do will be its function. I hope you understand. So let's see if you understand the properties and functions. So what I will do is I will give you an object, and you have to tell me its properties and functions. Any three you can tell, at least three, and maximum you can tell me infinite, right? So which object I should give you, and you have to tell me, you can tell me in the comments option, or you can just tell in your mind, whatever you wish. So the object is this car, the car that you can look in a screen. So what are its properties and what are its functions? I will give you 5 seconds to think, and then I will show you the answer. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and okay. I hope you have recalled the properties and functions of this car which I have shown, and if not, then you can pause the video and again think of it. Okay, so I will show you the answer now. 3, 2, and 1. So see, these are its properties and functions. So let's have a look first of all on properties. So properties, as I told, how it looks. So first of thing, it is in blue in color. Second, it has 4 wheels. Obviously you can see 2, but 2 are on the other side. Then it has windows. These are what it's how that object is looking. So that are nothing but its properties. And what are its function? That it can carry passengers from one place to another, right? It can also carry load, as you can see here, right? And it can run on road as it is running, right? So these are its properties and functions. Okay. So activity number 3. Now till now we discussed 2 activities. First activity was to add the comment. Second activity in which we discussed about object oriented programming. Now the third activity is creating paddle and ball game using object oriented programming. Now you understand what is object oriented programming. Everything is an object has properties and functions and all, you understand. Now to check whether you understand in a proper manner, we are going to create the paddle and ball game. That is nothing but a ping pong game, right? So let's see. So programmer creating a paddle object, a programmer creating a paddle object would first make the design and assign all the properties and functions of the object to it. So here, if you think in a programmer manner, right? So what a programmer will do, if I tell the programmer to create a paddle and ball game or a ping pong game, they will first understand the game. They will first think of the design. They will first the design of design of the paddle, and then they will assign the properties and functions to it, and according to that they will work on. And based on that design, the programmer will create as many paddles objects as he or she wants in the game, and that is nothing but a class in programming. Okay, so what is a class in programming? That it is nothing but for easier you are to make your work easier, right? Let's suppose I have to create 10 paddles, right? 10 paddles I have to create. So for that, for every time I have to write a rectangle or rect and its properties, then I have to, and its functions, then I have to again write the same thing multiple times, right? And then I have to change it. Let's suppose I want first in pink, second in blue, third in red, like that. I have to change it, right? But here the programmers are smart, right? So they do the quick work. So for that, what they do, they create one file in which they create the design. The paddle, what are the common properties in the paddle? That it is always going to be rectangle, right? So they already in the class they create that rectangle, and for assigning its color, properties, and the properties is what it should be a rectangle, and we could change its color and everything, right? So they create rectangle in the class. They assign and they tell that whatever we will give afterwards, the exposition. What is exposition? I will tell you. Whatever the properties they will give, that will be that as much of things it will create, right? That means class. I will explain the class here. See, here I have created a class. In that class I have created this car. So what is the common thing in the cars? That it is having 4 wheels and it is having this shape. That is common, right? So I created the design and set its properties, that properties will be remain same for all, right? Like having 2 wheels and the shape, that is same for all. So I have created it, I have made this in the class. Now I have to change the color, and let's suppose I have to change the name or the company. So for that I created the objects. So firstly I use the same design but change its color like green and give it a name Mercedes. I use the same design, change the color as blue and given the name as BMW. I used the same design and created this car as orange and given the name, right? So like this I will create a paddle class, right? It will remain the same. Like here the shape and wheels were same, so there the rectangle shape would be the same. I will create like that, and by using that I can create the 10 paddles, right? One I will give as a pink, another I will give as a red, third I will give as a blue, then green, whatever I want. So that is the smart work the programmers do. So I hope you understand class. What is class? So, and if you don't, then don't worry, because once you start the coding you will understand it in a perfect manner. Now I think you don't understand it in a good manner, but once you start coding you will understand it in a quick manner or in a perfect manner. So let's start. So before we move ahead for the coding, I will show you what is the ping pong game. Okay, let's see the video. this is what the game, as you can see here. So first of all, you will create like this border partition, right? And us in one side you will call a robot, which will the computer player, right? Which will be automatic. And this the ball will you have to play, right? You have to press some keys and you have to move it, right? And also if you press the space, it will again start the game. And once the ball, and then the ball will start to move. Okay. And you have to also add the scores over here. If you lose, then the robot will get one score and you will get zero, like that. And also we have to add the sounds. So this is what we have to do in the ping pong game. So let's start. Before that, how we will do this ping pong game? First of all, we will create the blueprint. Blueprint is nothing but the class, one design of that paddle. Okay. So first of all, we will create the class. Then we will define its properties. Then we will create a player paddle and the computer paddle using that design, the class. And then again we will assign the properties to that paddle design. Clear? So this is how we are going to do it. So that's fine. Now that is what the theory part. Now let's start with the actual coding. Okay, so let's start with the actual coding and let's go. Okay guys, now let's start with the coding. Okay, so first of all, you have to open your Google Chrome and you have to search P5 Web Editor. So let's search P5 Web Editor, and then you will see this link as p5.js web editor. You have to open that. Once you open that, you will see the option of login or sign up. So you have to log in or sign up in that in the p5.js web editor, because if you are not signing in, then it will not save your code, whatever you will write. So for that, let's log in or sign in. So for login, you have options like you can either sign in by the username, password, or email password, or you can log in with your GitHub and Google account. So I'm going to log in it with Google. So let me log in. Okay, so once you log in, you will see the screen. You will see your name over here, like as I'm able to see, hello Gargi in 2007. Then this is what you will see. Before moving ahead, I will show you the option of light theme and dark theme. So in the P5 web editor, you have two options, like you can have the dark theme or you can have the light theme. So let me make it to the dark theme. So first of all, you have to click on the settings icon over here. And then here in the general settings, you will see these options. Like first of all, it is the theme option. So you have three themes, light, dark, and high contrast. So let me make it dark. And if you make it high contrast, then this is what it is. So let me make it dark as well. Okay, then you can also change the text size if you want. So let me change it to 22. Like this. And then you have autosave as on. So if it is not on, just make it on, because autosave will help you to save your code. And auto close brackets and quotes, let's also make it on, because as you will write the code, you will need the brackets, so it will automatically close the brackets for you. Also make the word wrap on. And now let's start. So let me explain what are this, how is this screen. So whatever the code you can see over here is your working space. Here you will write your code. Okay. And you will see the output in the preview over here. And for that, you have to click on this run icon like this. So for now, you can see the output like this, like you have a canvas created of the width and height is 400, and you have a background color as 220. So let's change the background color to, let's say, yellow. So as you can see, I have every time I write the code, I have to click on run option, then only it will show me the output. So for that, I'm just going to click on autosave, so that every time I make the change in my code, auto refresh, every time I make the change in my code, it will automatically show me the output. As you can see, I have now clicked on it and I've just changed this background to violet. So as you can see, it is automatically showing without clicking on the run icon. Okay, so now one more thing, we have to change the name of the file. Now it is something different. Now let's make it ping pong game. You can also add emojis by pressing Windows plus the dot icon, or sorry, dot key, like over here. You can also add the ping pong game as you wish. I'm not going to add it. So okay, now here you can see two functions already. The function is there are two functions. First is the function setup and second is the function draw. So function draw is called many times once you run the code. Okay, so anything that you have to display is displayed by the function draw, right? And anything that you have to create is created in the function setup. Like here I have created canvas in this setup function, and I have displaying with the help of the background in the draw function. If I created anything, like if I created the paddle, so I will create it in the setup function and I will display it in the function draw. Okay. Okay, so first of all, let's start with the making of the class, creating the class of our pattern. So for that, we have to create a file. So already there are three files: index.html, sketch.js, and style.css. So in the index.html, you have the HTML code, which is calling our file sketch.js, p5.js, and sound p5.sound.mean.js. So it is calling the files. And in the style.css, we have the styling part of our output screen, and in the sketch.js is what we will write the code. So we'll create a file by clicking on the arrow and then clicking on create file, and we will name it as paddle.js. Then add file. Once you add file, you will see this paddle.js created over here. For telling the computer that this is a class, this is the design of our paddle, we are writing class, then the name of the class, which is paddle, and then curly brackets. Okay. Now next thing we will do is we will create the constructor. Okay. So constructor will help us to initialize the object, okay, to create the design of the object. So for that we are using constructor function. So constructor, then you have to use, every time you call a function, you will see the same syntax. You have to call the name of the function, then parenthesis, and then curly bracket. This is the same for all, as you will go and see in the function setup also. The name of the function, the parenthesis, and the curly bracket. It's same for all, right? So constructor. And as I told earlier, that the first activity, that is the sign of a good programmer, is to add comments. So why we are adding the constructor? So let's comment and let's write down it. Constructor is used to create objects, or you can also say initialize objects. Yeah. Now in the constructor, we will have the values. Okay. But before that, just as we create the rectangle, like paddle is going to be a rectangle, as you know. So the rectangle has 4 values, which I have to explain first, then I will go to the constructor function. Okay, so let me create a rectangle first. Sorry, 100, 200, 50, 50. Okay, so I have given some sort of numbers, like these are the numbers, and I have given 4 values, right? 4 values, right? 200, then again 200, then 50, then again 50. So what are these values? You have to understand. So first is 200. First 200 is used to display the X position. What is the X position? The position horizontally. Okay, I will explain it. Okay, wait. Yes. So if I give the number 200, so it is coming in the middle because our canvas is of 400. So if I give it 100, then it will come over here. Okay, on the left side. Okay, if I give the less number, it will come on the left side. If I give the high number, it will come on the right side. For the Y position also, if I give the less number like 100, it will go upward. If I give the high number like 300, it will go downward. This is what you have to understand. So the horizontally position is known as the X position, and vertically it is known as the Y position. Clear? So 200, first 200 is for the X position, second is for Y position, and the third 50, third and fourth. Third and fourth is for displaying the width and height. Third and fourth is used to width and height. The width is 50 and height is 50. You can also change it. So this is what I have to explain. We delete this and let's just go back to it. So constructor. So what will be inside the constructor? Constructor is going to design or create our objects. So it should know which X position it should have, which Y position it should have, what width it should have, what height it should have, right? So for that, can I give like 250, 200, 30, 30 like this? Can I give? No, because every time I want, let's suppose 10 paddles. So whenever I will create, it will come on the same position, right? So they should be defining, if I want one paddle on the left side, I should define it on the left side. If I want on the right side, so I should define it on the right side, right? So for that, we are going to use this dot exposition, which will help us to use the different expositions for the different patterns, right? So this dot exposition, right? Okay. Okay. So for initially it would be 0, so that I can change it every time, right? Then this dot Y position should also be 0 as I'm going to change it. Now this dot width. So I will give somewhat width because I have to see whether that object is created or not. So let's give it 20. So I'm giving any any number because I'm going to just change it later, right? And also you can see the semicolon at the end. So why we are giving the semicolon? Because a semicolon in this language tells that computer that this line is over. Just as we use full stop in our English language, here we use semicolon. So this dot height, let me make it any number. Okay, now I have done it. But this class paddle file is called in index.html? No, now it will be displayed just here as sketch.js file is also called. After that, we will call the paddle.js. Okay, so just copy it and just change the name to paddle.js. Okay, after that, it should be displayed, right? So for that displaying, we are going to call the display function. Now here it is creating, but that should be displayed. So for that, we are going to call the display function. Display. Now how it should be displayed? It should be displayed in the circle, rectangle, square, or how? So we want it in the rectangle. So rectangle is called like this, RECT, and then parenthesis. Now again, it as I told you, it has 4 values, x, y, width, height. So which value have to call? The value which we have defined in the constructor. This dot x position, this dot y position, this dot width, this dot height. So let's write it. This dot x position, this dot y position, this dot width, comma, this dot height, like this. So that's it. Now we have defined the rectangle also, text also. Now we have to create the object using this class. Okay. For that, we have to create the variable first of all. Why we call the variable? Variable is used to store the data. It is location in the computer's memory where it will store the data. Okay. So the proper definition of your variable will be shown on your screen. Okay. So variable and the name of the variable, whatever you want. So first of all, we are creating the player pattern. So let's name it as player pattern. Okay, so just not to give the space in between because maybe that cause an error. So just use the capital letters, player pattern. Now, as I told you, where do we create the objects? In the setup. So let's create it in the setup. Player pattern is equals to 1. Now we are using the class to create the object. So we'll call new and the name of the class, which was pattern. And then the parenthesis. Now it is being created, right? Now it should be also tell the position, tell the width, height, and then it should also be called, right? So let's start with it then. Okay, so where we will write the position and everything, we will write in the draw because that is going to be showing, right? For showing, we use it the draw function. So player pattern dot x position is equals to 2. Let's put 200, right? And before that, as I told you, we are creating an object. For displaying the object, we have a function called draw sprites. Sprites means nothing but the object, right? So draw sprites will help us to display the objects which we created. Okay. Yes, so what I was saying is player paddle dot position. Now here, there is no need of writing draw sprites because already in our constructor function, we have used a function called as display, right? So for that, there is no need of calling that draw sprites function. So player paddle dot x position is given. Let's give y position also. Yeah, let me give it. Okay, so it should be on the left side. So let me give it 0. Let me give it 200. So it should be in the middle. Okay, let's see. Now you will ask why it is not being displayed because here we have not called the display function yet. So we'll call player paddle dot display. Okay, so here you can see that thing, right? Okay. So 0, that means it is on the left side, and 200, so it is in the 200 in the middle. Nextly, let me change its width and height. Let's change it. Width is fine, but height should be changed. Paddle dot height should be 100. So let's see. Okay, fine. But if you look at the game, as I shown you earlier in the video, the player paddle was like when I move my cursor, it was moving. So for that, what we will use? We will use word dot mouse y. If I want to move it on the x position, so I can use word dot mouse x. But I have to move in the y position, so I will use word dot mouse y. So instead of writing word dot mouse y, I can just write mouse y. So you can see now it is moving according to my cursor. But if I move it over here, it is not moving because I have not given for the x position. I have only given for the Y position. Let's suppose if I give for the X position, so it will move everywhere according to my cursor. So you can see it is moving everywhere, but we don't want this, right? For that, 0 is fine. Okay, that's it. So we have successfully created our player paddle. Now it's turn of creating the computer paddle, and you can also create the computer paddle by your own, but here I'm also creating it. Now for that I will create the next variable named computer, sorry, computer paddle. Nextly I will create it in the setup function, just as I have created the player paddle. So computer paddle is equals to new paddle. Similarly, I can give some things for it. Right, so let me copy this thing for computer paddle. Let me change it. Computer. Okay. But computer paddle was not moving according to the mouse wheel, right? So it has a proper, it has a definite position, and also it was not on the same side. It was on the next side. Let me make it 390, maybe. No, it's 370, maybe 380. Yeah, fine. So this is what I have also created the computer paddle. Now for the ball, I have not created the class because I have to create only one ball, right? So I can create with the help of rect itself. So rect 200, 150, 20, 20 is my ball. I know ball is circular, circular, but here I have created it rectangle. Okay, so that's it. We are done, right? I mean, our code is done, and we have successfully created the paddle class. Using it, we have created two objects, player paddle and computer paddle. Also, we have created the ball using the rect. Right? Now it's time to save our code, right? Now, how to save our code? You have to click on file and you have to click on save, and it would be saved. Sketch save. Now, once you save the code, let's suppose I give you homework, so you have to share it to me, right? So how to share? Just after saving, just click on file, then click on share, and you will see the screen. So you will have three links, right? As you can see, embed, full screen, and edit. So you have to give me the edit link. So with the help of edit link, I can see the coding part also and the output part also simultaneously. But if you give me only the full screen, I can only see the output, not the code. So give me the edit screen while submitting the homework so that I can see both coding and the output. Just as if I copy this thing and if I paste it over here, so I can see both the screens. As you can see, whatever we have done and whatever the output is there. But if you just copy this full screen, so I can only see the output. Just as I will show you here. So see, only I'm able to see the output. I'm not able to see the code. So submit with the edits link so that I can see both code and the output. Okay, fine. Okay, so we are done with the coding. So today we discussed about object-oriented programming and started to work on our paddle and ball game, that is the ping pong game, right? And we will also do more things, more functionalities on that game, like bouncing of the ball and all the things that I have shown in the video. But wait, where are you going? I told you about the announcements, right? So announcements are, um, if you want to know more about the object oriented programming, that you want detailed video about the object oriented programming, then you have to give 100 likes today. Okay, so if I got 100 likes on this video, I will make a detailed video about object oriented programming. I will tell you about the different stages of the object oriented programming and everything in detail, right? Detail about it, about object oriented programming, if you give me 100 likes on this video. Okay, so in that video I will teach about object oriented programming very detail and at a advanced level. So fataфат say give me 100 likes and I will meet you in the next video then. But don't forget your homework, right? As I told you, I'm going to give you homework and I am here with your homework. So don't forget to submit your homework in the comment section of today's video, this video, right? So what is the homework? So this is the homework. For understanding the homework, you have to understand the story behind the homework, right? So what is the story? The story is something like this. Consider yourself as a mayor of a city named Coding City. Okay, so you are the mayor of a city, and that is congratulations to you for being the mayor of a city named Coding City. Okay, so as a mayor of the city, you need to create sufficient housing to have no homeless people in your city. That means every family should get a home in your city, right? So for that you have to create some buildings as per your choice, and in between every building you should have a proper margin, and you have to give attractive colors to buildings or to background. Like in the today's class we created the class for the paddle, because we have to create the 2 paddles, right? Now here you have to create as much paddles as much buildings as you can put in your canvas, right? So for that you have to first of all create the class for building, right? Then with the help of that class you have to create the objects, the buildings, like building 1, building 2, building 3, as many as you can, and you should have the proper matching. Like if this is the building 1, so at least some distance, and then the second building, okay, then the same distance, then the third building, like this. And you can change the height of the building, right? If one is smaller, you can next has a higher, then again smaller, as you want. And also you can give the attractive colors to your buildings if you can. If you can explore with it, you can do it, or you can give the attractive colors to background, right? So like this you have to give me. So here I have not given color to the buildings, only to background. You can also do this, but if you can give the color to the buildings also, you can do that too. So here as you can see, the proper margin I have given, that in every building there is the same distance, right? Also from the downside also I have given some some margin. So like this you have to create. And as you can see I have changed heights also. So one is higher, another is smaller, shorter. So like this you can give. Okay, and how to submit, as I told you earlier, how to copy the link. Have I told you? Yes, I have told you, right? About the edit link. You have to give me the edit link, not the full screen link. So with the help of the edit link I can see the coding as well as the output, right? So you have to give me the edit link, and that link you have to give me where? In the comment section. And I will check everybody's project, right? Everybody's project I will check, everybody's link I will check, and the one who has done a great job, one who has made the project absolutely good, attractive, different buildings, different heights of buildings, colors and everything is perfect, then I will show his or her project in the next video, as well as I will announce his or her name. Okay, So don't forget to submit your homework so that you can get your name in the next video. Okay, I will also show you a project in the next video if you have done a great job, right? So in the next video we will learn about more functionalities and properties like the ball bounce, and then everything we'll learn. So till then, bye bye, see you in the next video, and don't forget to submit your link, submit your homework link, and don't forget about the announcement. You have to give me 100 likes so that you will get the detailed video about object oriented program. Okay guys, so till then, bye bye, bye bye all of you, see you in the next video, see you, bye.